Hey there, Heather Boyd Wire here, and today we're going to make a business card holder, and inspired by Susan, who requested a bear business card holder for her daughter. So I'm going to do one. This one is 18 gauge wire, and I'm going to make one out of 16 gauge wire today. So I'm going to use my dog template. These are from previous live streams and tutorials. You can get these in my Etsy shop. I'll link it up below. I'm going to use 16 gauge wire. This one's from Michaels, and I'm going to try my new Beadle-On pliers. So I cut a 2.5 foot piece of wire, and I'm going to start about 6 inches from the end here. So we'll just start it here, and what we want to do is we want to start tracing the shape of the dog. So let's just give it a bend to start. This wire is a little difficult to work with because it's quite stiff. This 16 gauge is quite stiff, but it'll make for a more solid business card holder. So let's just go around the shape. Sometimes you can hold your hands like this, but it's also just as easy to pull it off the template to do some of the bending, because otherwise it's going to be tricky to manipulate. And also I'm going to be covering it with my hands and you are not going to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to try my best to do this in a way that you can see it. You can definitely see my other tutorials and live streams for tracing the patterns to do the animals. We've been having a lot of fun. And also on the new series, Let's Get Wired, where we wire and craft together and then share photos on the Discord app. So be sure to check out that series, Let's Get Wired, and I'm going to be doing them probably Saturdays around noon Eastern time. We're in Montreal, so that's seems to be a good time to reach people in North America and over in Europe, in India, and all over the place. So that seems to be a really good time. So we're just going to go around and trace the shape. Normally I would probably just do this freehand, but because I want to kind of show you how to use these templates, I'm just going around and tracing this shape. Like sometimes now for me it's almost easier just to eyeball it and to just do it by eye. And but you know, if you're not used to drawing and proportions and stuff like that, it's a good idea to use a template. So whatever works for you. And also you can make a jig. So I have a tutorial on my site on how to make a jig with wood and nails. So that's definitely a possibility. Say you're going to make several of these, it might be worth it to make a jig. But if you're only doing one, sometimes it's hardly worth it to make a jig. Although I have done temporary jigs, which are basically you take foam, could be fun foam, stack it up, and then put a bunch of not nails but pins in place where you want the bends to be. So that also is pretty effective to do temporary jigs, and then that way you can reuse the pins, you can reuse the foam and all that stuff. So that's pretty good. So we're just going to keep going around. I have a little feeling I might run out of wire, so we're just going to see what happens with that. And I always like to cut the wire too big than too small. I just find it much easier not to run out of wire, but that's totally up to you. And sometimes you might have to adapt your design along the way. If you run out of wire, that can happen too. So we're just going to eyeball it. If it's not 100% perfect, it's okay. And if I have to start again, so be it. We'll figure it out. So there we go. We're just going to do the shape of the legs. And I think rather than overlapping them like this, I'm going to just keep them very simple. If I was using a thinner wire, I would probably do that overlapping thing. But I think right now I'm just going to do a basic silhouette of the dog. In fact, I think I'm just going to do one leg on one in the front, one in the back, and then we can go from there, and hopefully I'll have enough wire. There we go. So we're just going to do the last little leg. Actually, we'll bring it up here. It's going to be more of that leg. So let's just bring it up here. Good. So that's it for the template. And then we have the basic shape for the dog. So yeah, just single legs are probably okay. Plus, you don't want too much detail in this, or it's actually going to distract from the business cards. So that the idea is just to have sort of a simple kind of design that the business cards still show up. So let's just do that. And at that point, we'll see where we have to bend it for the leg. Right here, bring it across here. And then we're going to bend that in place. So the idea now is this is actually going to go to the back. So this one here, and if you need to push it to the back, you can take your flat pliers, hold it and push that to the back. And then we're going to bring this one here and wind it around. So usually, especially when the wire is so thick, you're going to have to start it with the pliers. Otherwise it's going to deform. So we're going to start it with the pliers, bring it around here, and just bend it to the back. So that's going to make sort of the basic shape, the basic outline of the whole dog, and then we could just bend this in place. And then what we can do is we want to bend it back to the other side. So let's just, rather than bend it around a couple of times because we're running out of wire, I'm just going to bring it back here. Okay, so we're going to bring it back here. I think I'm going to have enough wire. I am amazed. So I'm going to twist it around here. So we're going to get our pliers again and just wind it, help it out a little bit in here, bring it through. And this is just going to make it a little more secure. So we're going to take that there, bring it through, and then we want to tighten that up here. It's going to be easier if you're using 18 gauge wire. The 16 is quite stiff, so I think you probably be better with the 18, but you can just go with what you have. So see, that just secures that in place. And then we want to take this and bend it to the back here. So these two wires are going to the back, and we're going to measure it. We'll take our ruler, and I think about 1 inch is good. So let's just go ahead, straighten this up a bit, bring that to here, and bend it up at the 1 inch point. So I'm going to bring, maybe I'll use my round pliers. I'm going to bring these up here. Yeah, these pliers are quite good. The only thing is the tip isn't as fine as with the red pliers that I usually use, but they work pretty well as round pliers. And the flat pliers are great too, so that's good. With the round pliers, it's good to have a variety. You want some really fine tipped round pliers, but also some that are larger as well. So there we go. So we're going to straighten this out. Got a little kinked in the process, but that's all right. And then what we want to do is measure the back. So I think about 1 3/4 inches is good. You can check your business card and do, yeah, a little less than the height. Even as low as 1 1/2 inch would be good, depending if you want the wires showing or not. So let's try 1 1/2. The previous one I did was 1 3/4, and then we're just going to bring that to the back, and same thing here. We'll measure 1 1/2, hold that in place, and bring that to the back. So now we're done with our ruler. These are just back like this, and then you want to make a kind of a stand thing. So what I would do is just bring that to the back and put your round pliers in place here, and just do a little loop, because I don't like really like rough edges. So this is nice because we're going to have a finished edge that is not going to be scratchy on the table and stuff. So let's just go ahead, put the round pliers here, bring it around, and then you can just check that they're at the same level. So we're just going to bring that there, looks good. That one there, maybe a little lower. So we're going to bring that down. Perfect. And then we're going to get our little nippers, and we'll just nip that off. These nippers are great. They're nice and sharp. The ones I had before were getting really old. So yeah, the Beetle-on ones work really well. I'm very happy with these. Nice solid nippers. And I will link up the website below where you can buy these pliers. It's not an affiliate link, but they were very generous to send me all kinds of pliers and wire in the mail. You can check out that video too, where I open the big box of loot. So here we go. So these are to the back, and then what you can do is just kind of stretch those out a bit. You can adjust them, do that to stretch it out a little bit, and then you're going to see this is the tricky part, is the finishing, where you just wiggle it around and stuff. So that stands super solid. Actually, I think I'm really liking the 16 gauge wire because the 18 is a little more flimsy. So definitely, I know Susan, you'd suggested you were going to use 16, and I think you're wise. I think it's a good choice. So then we're going to just get business cards and stick them in there, and it looks super cute, you guys. I'll just bend it so you can see it. A little doggy business card holder. So thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more DIY wire art and jewelry making videos. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live and when I post new videos. And if you'd like to share pictures of your wire art and jewelry, be sure to join the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club on Facebook. And if you'd like to check out my wire work on Etsy, my husband and I specialize in custom wedding cake toppers and funky jewelry. I also have a mailing list, so if you'd like to hop on the mailing list, I'll send you my Wire Art Essentials ebook. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you the next time.